Hello there my fellow holotable heroes, are you ready for another round of Conquest? Now Conquest 8 is coming up next week, so in this video I want to help you prepare for it. So I want to first cover quickly the fixes that CG implemented for the Conquest number 8 and then show off a brand new feature on my SWGOH for Life tool that will help you hopefully progress through Conquest a bit easier, so you don't need to worry about too much what you have to do every day. Let's first have a look at the fixes though first. So we got something with thermal detonators. They're now unresistable or something. I didn't really notice. We'll see how this affects. Now this one obviously we will notice because in Sector 1 boss fight, before you were granted the stun feat even though you did not attempt to flick stun 20 times. So the initial guide I created there will have to be updated with a new team that can inflict 20 stuns, so be on the lookout for that one. And then defeating, so obviously they fixed as well some of the their defeats that they count for grand victory there as well. Again, this I don't think it'll make a whole lot of their influence on the overall playthrough. We've got opportunistic support, so they just updated the description, not the actual data disk. Now this one will help us a little bit because, as you probably know, the death mark from Darth 11's leadership did not count towards the death mark feat, so we solely had to rely on Death Trooper for that feat. So it's good to know that they fixed now, so also whenever we do use Revan, that will help us out a little bit. Alright, looks like there was an issue with the stun from Kylo Ren. Again, I did not really notice this because I hardly use Kylo at all in the Conquest. They fixed the Geospy, Stern meter gain, that's fine. And they updated description. But this is the one that probably we will notice the most, because there was a bug with the initial Frenzy tech that you just used it once, which gave Frenzy 5 times to your team. However, it counted as you've gained it 20 times. So now actually we'll have to do it the proper way. So once you do purchase that consumable, you can use it twice, and then this will give you Frenzy 10 times. So definitely we'll have to come up now with an efficient way to complete the 10 remaining Frenzy to complete this feat. So be on the lookout for the guide whenever I do hit Sector 3. I'll be trying out different things. Alright, so with CG updates out of the way, time to switch over to my updates, to my SWGOH for Life tool. So on my Conquest page, these are the battles and sectors as well that I've covered already in the Conquest 7 season. And all of these will still apply to Conquest 8 or 9, more or less, with the exception, for example, of here of Sector 1 boss guide for the stun feat. I'll be just releasing like an updated guide there. So be on the lookout for that. The rest, still kind of applies. Same goes for all these sector feeds guides, except obviously, as mentioned before, the Frenzy one here. I will be creating a new one because they fixed the consumable. So, it'll be a little bit more work for us to get this Frenzy done this time, but everything else still applies. And at the bottom are just kind of some overall Conquest guides in case you're new to Conquest and you're just trying to understand how all of this works. Now let's hop over now to recommended discs. So as I was playing through here, I was trying to note what disc I actually found the most useful. And anyway, in pretty much all of my guides, I do show you what disc I have equipped for those battles. So here is just kind of like an overview summary, not like a whole lot of details exactly when and how to use this disc. I kind of split them in 3 groups of discs, because then it's easier to, kind of split your 12 dots how you want to use them. We've got the first group, which are the core discs. So these are kind of the all-around discs that pretty much every team will benefit from. The highest priority discs from this group are definitely Leader's Resolve and Entrenched. So yeah, Leader's Resolve will boost obviously any sort of leader, so it's a key really disc here for many teams. And then in terms of Entrenched, I always recommend having 2 Entrenched discs, because especially Sector 4 and 5, all these over-prepared enemies, they're very quick, they hit very hard, so you need lots of bonus protection up to begin with, so you can then survive the opening wave of attacks, as well as when used with somebody like Padme lead, you will then benefit from immediate protection up at the beginning, so you can't be critically hit, they can't apply debuffs on you. So then Padme really in those later sectors is one of the key characters in terms of sector feats and boss battles as well. And then moving on, probably the two kind of, nice to haves are heal over time. So this one allows your team every time they take a turn to a little bit heal up, which is great versus all those Galactic Republic teams with stat fast retribution. And of course also for those kind of cheese teams with Rey, where Rey can then just keep spamming her lifeblood over and over again, while the rest, like Phoenix or Bad Batch or Mandalorians, are doing their feats where they have to defeat the enemies, and you just need Rey to keep them alive. And Ruthless Swiftness is a nice one to have as well, just to give you some extra turn meter after your initial opening wave of attacks. You get somebody below 100% health, and then just gives you another little bit of a turn meter boost, so you can get your second wave of attacks out very, very quickly. So onto the second group here, the support discs. Now these discs are great for teams and feats and characters that rely on doing big damage with your support and healers. So some of the teams you will want to use these for is in that sector where you have to win without using attackers. So you can then put a Bastila Jedi team together, as well as Rey, Jedi Training Droids team, and Imperial Troopers. All of these guys are very strong support teams, which obviously with all these support discs they will do some big hits. And as well the characters benefiting from this, like Fallen Bastila, her Wild Lightning can do some big like 100k plus AoE there. Tarkin Zevia as well. And oh boy, also Relic Talzin, she can almost one-shot characters out of the gate with her AoE that ignores protection. Now the high priority discs here are Zealous Ambitions and Vitality, and that's because Vitality will give you extra protection, but most importantly extra health to your team. So if you take somebody like Relic Barris or Relic Jolie, they will have like 100k health. You add more health on that, so suddenly their health is around 150k. And then because of Zealous Ambition disc, they will gain offense equal to 54% of their max health. So they're essentially gaining 70k offense. So they'll be, it was such a joy using those guys, and hitting Julie and Barry's there. Their basic was doing like plus 100k damage. So that was very fun, and it makes those feats without attackers very, very easy to do. And stacking offense is a nice one to have, I think, in this combo, because remember, you don't have any attackers in here, so just to give you a little bit of extra offense. I've seen then Grandmaster Yoda like hitting like for 400k, because he's a support character as well anyways, under Bastila lead with all the buffs and everything. Yeah, your Grandmaster Yoda is an absolute beast as well here. And finally, the final group here you will want to focus on is out of turn discs. Now first, initially I kind of ignored this disc, I didn't really pay much attention, but as I was progressing through sectors, I just realized how important these discs are and how powerful they are. Because in sector 4 we got the smuggler feed, then in sector 5 we got the Geos feed, and if you're like me, whereas your smugglers and Geos are meh, then you will definitely need these discs to keep your guys alive and also give them enough damage they can kill somebody. And at the same time, this makes Guest 501st, Padme, as well as Jedi teams really invincible, because they have lots of attacks out of turn, so they keep recovering health and protection, they keep boosting their damage, so they really make then this easy, especially versus boss fights there in sector 4 and 5 with these discs. Definitely very important. Now the priority disc here, defensive formation, stacking fervor, and blindside. Why you will want blindside is really for that smuggler and Geos feed, because they don't do a whole lot of damage, so just applying extra exposes whenever you attack out of turn, which can't be resisted, really help you burn for those over prepared enemies you will be facing. Defensive formation, another key one here, high priority one. You will be recovering protection whenever you attack out of turn, and with Geos and smugglers this will pretty much make sure that your guys are topped up with a full protection at all the time. That's why the healing one, the opportunistic support, when you do recover health, is not as crucial, because if you're all the time at full protection, enemy doesn't really get to your health anyway, but still in certain situations it will be a nice to have. And then stacking fervor, this one is as well the priority one, because again those Geos, smugglers, they don't do a whole lot of damage, so just giving them some extra offense whenever they attack out of turn is huge. And finally, a nice to have but not a key one, I would say, is Master's Technique. And this where you gain mastery every time you attack out of turn, so it will kind of go nicely hand in hand with your stacking fervor, so it will give you even more offense as you're going through and attacking out of turn. Alright, now to the final here sector on my Conquest page is the new daily plan. Now this is just kind of a baseline plan I'm starting with, so it's kind of, you know, version 0, not even version 1 if you will. So I'm definitely interested if you guys have a look and let me know in the comments below or on my Discord server. Do you find this useful? What kind of information would you like that in the upcoming Conquest 9 and even further I make, just to make the planning of, you know, your daily attacks useful. So the whole idea here is each day I kind of try to list, okay, in this sector do these battles, go after these bosses using these teams that will then help you get as many feats done as possible. So the teams, what I'm doing here, they take in consideration, okay, I'm trying to use every team only 2 times, maybe something with Galactic Legends up to 4 times, because obviously you will start having stamina issues if you use too many times. As well, I listed here like which feats in sectors this team will be working towards, as well as global feats. So you can see, you know, that most of these teams I'm suggesting are very versatile. They're getting lots of feats done at once. And also for many of these that I created guide in Conquest 7, you also got a video there button, so you can just click straight through, and this will then take you to one of my guides showing how this team works and how to use it and things like that. So this is done for all of them, as well as boss fights and everything. So again, kind of like, you know, every day you come in, okay, day 1, and you just got like, okay, I have to do 2 Jedi attacks, I have to do 2 Bounty Hunter attacks, 2 Maul attacks, and then I have to do some Phoenix feats here with Rey and Master Luke. And finally here, Padme here doesn't really target any specific feats, but again, I already used up stamina on all of these guys, and just trying to see then what team I can use here to also get some of those sector feats out, and as well without using tanks, just to start working towards global feats. Now these battles are not in particular order, so as you're going through sector, you will just have to find, you know, which teams you can go up against, maybe adjust depending on your roster and situation. So again, this is just kind of a rough starting point here that I put together, and as you know, the thing progresses, I receive feedback from the community and my own experience. Definitely I think we can improve upon this guide to make any future conquests, you know, less stressful and painful to do. Also worth mentioning, for every day I was trying to do maximum 18 battles. Essentially what happens is every day you get 6 battles worth for free with energy that you do get with energy recharging, and then to get to 18 battles you have to refresh 2 times. So if you're very efficient in battles, if you're not swapping discs, you're not dropping any battles, you will be doing 2 refreshes a day. But for my situation, that first week, as you will see, my plan first week is much more intense. So for the first week, you're probably expecting to do 3 refreshes a day, just to give you some wiggle room to swap some discs and maybe, you know, reduce some battle in case the feed didn't work out quite well, or maybe you got overrun by over-prepared team. So that just to give you an idea of what to expect. So these are the sector battles, and underneath you will see for the mini boss. So that as well, again, for each mini boss you will see what teams I used. You can click to watch the video, as well as highlighting some of the other sector feats and global feats these teams will be completing. There we go. And finally at the bottom as well, you have a final boss battle. So this is kind of the team that probably will be able to complete now all the feats now that we do have to stun the enemies. So I'll be trying out, and as I tried out, I'll make a video and you will soon see the little red video icon there that you can click on it and watch. And finally, in day 1 you'll be able to even start working towards sector 2 battles, so doing some CLS battles there, and as well start working towards the Night Sister feat as well. Alright, so if I just now go up onto day 2, again here day 2 will just continue with the sector 2 battles, all various feats we're going up against, and then we'll get to the mini boss as well on day 2, and as well final boss as well, and then again we'll return back to sector 1 at the end of day 2 to start knocking out these bounty hunter feats as well as the Phoenix feat, and already peek into sector 3 just to get that old Republic feat up and running. There we go. And day 3, as you will see, just continues with sector 3 battles. I'm not going to go through everything, but just to show you how it works for the first few days, kind of giving you guideline. Again, I'm looking at about 18 battles a day for the first week, which should get you through first 5 sectors, including all the boss battles as well. and then the last 7 days it's gonna slow down a little bit. Hopefully you won't need to refresh much anymore the last 7 days, save you some crystals and time. But this is really like the way that I found it the most useful here. Just for 7 days, do a little bit more intense, and then you can see how much you still need to get at max rewards. There you go. And finally, day 6 will finally hit their Master Kenobi. Again, just a reminder, you can just click whenever you got a video icon there, and you can go straight through to the guide where you can see various feats here that you can complete. All right, and there we go. As well, boss battles I did here, all feats with one team. Again, you can see the guide there from Conquest 7 if you need to. Now I understand not everybody got a Rey and Commander Sokatano, so I did some testing afterwards, and these are the teams that I was able to complete the feats. So whenever I get to Sector 5 this time, I will record this and as well post videos on here. So for those of you that do not have these characters, there's still ways to get it done with these guys whenever you have all those discs attacking out of turn. That's why definitely I showed you recommended discs first, because they will be important, especially for here Sector 5 gas team. And after we completed even the final boss here in Sector 5, then we just have to go back, do some Sector 1 battles, Sector 2, Sector 4. And we're only on day 7, still doing lots of battles over here. But as you will see, slowly the number of battles every day will slightly reduce. So now we're pretty much only down to maybe 1 refresh a day. There we go, day 9. Now we're just doing for last few days basically just 6 battles a day, so no need to refresh. You're getting 120 energy every day for free anyway. So this is my plan. Have a look. Hope you find it useful. Again, appreciate any feedback you guys may have for this. What kind of extra details would you like to see? Again, let me know in the comments below or my Discord server, guys. But until then, have fun, enjoy life, and go get that max rewards in the Conquest.